Hi everybody, welcome to BrickVault, it's Mike here and welcome to our weekly MOCs, top 10 MOCs video. I'm gonna be showing as usual my top 10 favorite MOCs from last week. This week we're gonna have a lot of sci-fi and some buildings that I really enjoyed, some dioramas as well. So I hope you're gonna enjoy that, and at the end of this episode I'm gonna be showing your fan creations that you guys just keep sending to our Fan MOCs email, and we always appreciate that. Thank you so much for submitting, so I hope you're gonna enjoy those as well. Let's just not talk too much and jump into this first MOC. As every week, guys, all the links to the creations I show in this episode can be found in the video description below. Let's start off with number 10, and here we have a pretty micro-scale build, minimalistic if I may say, that is Grandmaster's and his light cycles. Presumably this build only have 6 parts, and it's the effect that matters, as what we all have here is pretty much a Technic rubber piece, a kind of this flexible joint with some flat tiles inside, 2 minifigure hands and 2 vertical bricks that are transparent and illuminated with some light bricks. And boy, what an effect that is, those cycles look awesome. It's quite amazing how much you can achieve with just a very few bricks. I like how they line up with the edge of the transparent brick, plus the black side stand is so simple but adds a lot to this futuristic glossy texture. Many say that those are illegal techniques used here for Lego building, but I would say the effect forgives it all. That is what I really call very creative building. Moving up to number 9, we have a bigger and more detailed build, obviously, that is Norton 74, a builder that we featured a number of times before, and this time around we have his hot dog stand. I always said I love his style of building, very studless and very minimalistic in many ways, but you cannot deny the amount of details he is putting into his MOCs. This hot dog stand reminds me kind of how In-N-Out restaurants, the burger joints, look in California. Of course, we have this 50s, 60s style of the restaurant. Actually, it's just a small shack in the middle of a parking lot, but the colors are amazing with the combination of white, red and gray. A few custom stickers here and there, but I don't really mind, as I think that they make the whole scene look very, very complete. Everything from the trash behind the building to positioning the minifigs to even small details like ketchup or mustard on the counters just make this entire MOC very worth having this in the top 10 list of this week. Thanks Norton for providing us with another great example of your techniques of building. Number 8 comes from Anthony Wilson, and I think we have the season back for the speeder bikes. This one here is called the Needler X13, and even though many say it's small, I love so many things about it it's hard to name them all. First, the stand with the hexagonal shaping is looking really amazing, and the amount of black gribbling on the bike itself is quite astonishing, as we have a bunch of antennas, cones and elements of tools from Lego that all lead towards the cockpit that apparently has some holographic controls. Amazing touch of detail here as the minifigure is holding hands inside those green transparent barrels, and the whole seating area and the heads-up display made of transparent grill tile are making for a very futuristic and very awesome looking thing. It's quite amazing how much detail you can pack into a Lego build using a lot of small pieces. But when you do use such pieces, you pretty much end up with something like this that looks very speedy, sleek and just plain great. Moving up to number 7, we are keeping the vibe of those futuristic builds. This is Vince Toulouse, one of the most original builders I know on Flickr, and now he presents the car called the SL20 Streamliner. Many say this is a streamlined, modern looking Batmobile. It kind of has this vibe, but it's so much more than that. Some custom chrome pieces used on those pipes, but I don't really mind. I just love the whole concept of light and dark blue to create those lines. A beautiful studless build, and one cool thing to notice is that he is using Duplo tires. I think there's a great match. The car looks pretty much insane, and even though in many points of this car we only have just nicely used slopes, there are moments in this build that just scream excellence. I'm especially talking about the seating, the driver area. Most definitely that is quite otherworldly MOC. With number 6 we have our mech of the week, that is Chubby Bots, and coming with a build from the Pacific Rim Uprising, the upcoming movie. That is the Gypsy Avenger, and let me say this, it looks pretty awesome with a lot of armor details in blue. I love those power swords on his hands, and there seems to be also a power source on his chest, and definitely this guy looks like packing a lot of punch. After all, he has to fight a lot of kaiju, the monsters from the movie, and Chubby Bots is mentioning that the Gypsy Avenger is the first MOC from Pacific Rim from his. I'm glad, because he's a very accomplished mech builder. To witness that yourself, go check out his Flickr page. And I'm also happy that the Gypsy Avenger is the first completed Pacific Rim, as he already seems to be working on the Bracer Phoenix, a much more beefier looking robot. I hope I can mention the finished one in some future MOCs episode, because so far it looks superb. Alright, moving up to number 5, we have Brother Steven, and this build is a bit less futuristic than the previous ones. This is the Aldingham Keep, a quite tall and sleek looking castle tower in surprising white color. That was Brother Steven's contribution to the classic Castle Kingdoms collaboration for the Brick Fair in Alabama in 2018, and I gotta say I'm very welcoming the white look of the tower, given that I'm quite used to grey looking castles. The thing is studless, which is another great point to have in a MOC, for me at least. It doesn't leave a big footprint because it's so sleek, but the height is quite significant. I love the windows all over the place and the small footsteps on the approach to the tower. A cute looking rock formation there with a knight next to it. The trees around it are just using those sand green cones, and we also have some guards on top and a nice looking flag at the very top of the tower. Honestly, there is nothing you would not like on such build. A very clean and very unique entry into the medieval castle building. It's quite impressive to say the least. Alright, now it's something less serious. With number 4 we are moving into a very biased choice because I love this guy. This is basically Garfield, and the MOC is titled I Hate Mondays, built by Vlad Efremkin. Now I have to be honest with you guys, I'm a huge Garfield fan. Probably I was binge reading his comic strips for years, to be honest, and Garfield is seen in his a bit too small of a bed quite too many times, usually cracking a joke or just throwing some punchlines out there. As you can see, the face expression is captured perfectly, just when you compare it to the cat seen in the comics. I love how he used the pauldrons in orange to create his eyes, and at the same time his ears. That is a great piece usage to create two elements of his face. Whiskers are creating genuinely from a grill piece and some lever pieces, and the whole slope effect and the shaping of his face and his blanket in the back are just something I truly love. Just give this man some lasagna already because he deserves it, and man, I want instructions for this guy because I would love to have Garfield on my desk. So if you are watching, Vlad, please contact us if you have any forms of instructions for this build. Alright, with number 3 we are getting back into somewhat of a sci-fi vibe. This is Jonathan Gilbert with his Canal Street Chase, a District 18 diorama. Quite a big build, and at first you think it's something taken from the Ninjago movie, but if you look closer it is all about the speeder bikes. The police of 3 speeder bikes, one of them is about to get crashed, are chasing the guy named Grey Ghost. Yep, there is a whole lore behind this build. The Grey Ghost's bike is showing an awesome look from the water wave coming from his thrusters, and it seems like he's about to get away with it. More details, you can see some marketplace on the shore next to the chase, a lot of excellent buildings with some bridges in the back, and there is one more cool speeder bike in the back. This one is called the Recyclinator V2. So definitely go to the creator's Flickr page because he explains parts of this MOC in many pictures, and I think there is an awesome effort and an awesome result that he has put together. Alright guys, moving up to number 2, it has to be something quite epic, but maybe not in scale, definitely in the style of building. This is Hogwarts, School of Witchcraft and Wizardry by Joshua Wray, and that is one of the finest examples of microscale building I have seen so far in my entire career. It is a beautiful diorama of the entire Hogwarts castle with all the details you could expect from what it should look like given the movies, and of course, that being said, not only we have the Hogwarts castle, we also have a small Quidditch field. All the towers and pointy things are just recreated well. There is the forest with the Hagrid's hut and the pumpkin patch, and also the water areas surrounding the castle. The Weeping Willow can also be seen, and you can just keep naming things like this Fort Anglia on top of it that just make this beautiful micro diorama a completely complete build. Yep, I just said that. That is something every Harry Potter fan would crave for to have on their display, and I'm quite honored to include this thing as a number 2 of this week's top 10 MOC list. And moving to number 1, this build is not very detailed, I gotta be honest with you, but it just hits the vibes so well with me, and it's a biased choice, I gotta say. This is a Dagobah MOC from the Steads, and that is basically the scene when Luke lands his X-Wing onto Dagobah to meet Yoda. It's quite large in scale, and I like how he recreated the trees of Dagobah. The whole swamp is looking cool with a lot of clear studs to be used as water, same effect that we had in, for example, the ship in a bottle from the LEGO Ideas. There's a small campfire with Luke and R2. Yoda's hut can be seen with the owner in the front, and a nice little touch also is the Darth Vader in the cave there. That is from a scene when he appears in a vision for Luke. But what really wins this MOC over is the use of lighting around the place, all over the place actually. We have illumination for the landing lights around the X-Wing, there's the light in the cave where Vader appears, also the Yoda's hut is illuminated inside, and we have a working campfire. So as a whole picture, this MOC is quite excellent and was quite a fine find for this week's #1 spot. Alright guys, and those are the top 10 MOCs for this week. There are a few honored mentions that did not make the list, like for example the beautiful scenes from Brick Explorer on Instagram, the rovers for February from Frost, also a beautiful collection of the F-18 Hornet builds from Kurt's MOCs. Those look great, and I'm saying this as a huge aviation fan. And there was also a pretty cool Delta X Starfighter from Sunder59. I have left all those links below if you want to check out those Flickr galleries. And now it's also time to show off your fan creations that you guys keep sending to our BrickVaultFanmocs Gmail. Thanks so much for doing that, all those submissions are awesome. And if you want to send more for next week's episode, all the details and rules are below. And for now, let's just show your MOCs, cue the music. Thanks so much for watching guys, leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time.